What is up, Skara? How's it going, Eroktic here? In today's video, we're gonna talk about my thoughts about the occupied dark zone. But first, I gotta show you the glorious memes. A brand new meme format. Meme review. Complaints about the cheesy builds, uses one-shot sniper build. or how about this one? Calls himself a Dark Zone boss, uploads a 10-minute video of a checkpoint camping. Oh my god. Complains about the Defender drone, also uses Defender drone. I think this is the most common one ever, right? Creates SMG meta build, complains about the SMG build users. Like, what the? Am I tripping? Is this real life? Next on the list, gets wrecked in the conflict, cures his frustration on someone else. Too far? Huh? Or how about joins Positive Gamers clan, learns how to be toxic. Oh. By the way, we have the contest. $100 to the person that makes a better meme than my original ones. I think you get a picture. Here is the screenshot, link in the description also. And now, oh, was that cringe enough? Was that cringe-worthy? Let's roll the intro! All jokes aside, let's talk about Occupied Dark Zone. Occupied Dark Zone is a hardcore version of the Dark Zone. You can see the Occupied Dark Zone with this knife symbol where you're not hovering over it. And each day it is changing. I do not know why. Is there some kind of a RNG system or not? In 90% of cases, it is or west or south. When you enter inside of the Dark Zone, in the Occupied Dark Zone, you're flagged by default as a rogue. I mean, there is no even rogue status. You cannot even see the enemies where they are. The best indicator to figure out where people are, you're gonna get the message above the chat, the distance of the rogues. And also when the extraction is departing, you're gonna also get a notification, the voice notification that somebody is extracting. But in most of the cases, you'll not reach the destination and cut the rope because extractions in the Occupied Dark Zone are way too quick. And on the end of the day, who actually gives a flying crap about the extracted items anyways? Because the rate of the respawn of the landmarks is just so insane. Like, for example, the best place to farm is Occupied Dark Zone South, Cafeteria. Cafeteria and Backfire? Is it Backfire? Those two? Because they're gonna constantly be up. Yesterday, to be exact, Cafeteria spawned 5 times in a row. After we kill the boss, 10 seconds later, it respawned back up. And the reason why is because there was no one in the Dark Zone. For those of you that do not know, every single Dark Zone has a 12-player limit. I think there's just way too many different servers, and I would really like if Massive can actually increase the rate of the server transfers when you're playing on the empty server, just to increase the PvP experience a little bit more. Now, don't get me wrong. One day, I can have like 200 kills inside of the Dark Zone, and one day I'm gonna barely find a player. Like, I do not know what exactly is wrong, but I would like to message to just pay closer attention to that, pushing full groups or empty groups or whatever. Pushing people from the empty servers in the fuller ones. But basically, the reason why I'm saying that is the reason why Cafeteria is respawning so much. Because you have a landmark limit. There are like 5 or 6 landmarks that are active. When you're the only group inside of a Dark Zone and you're clearing only one landmark, game is gonna check out, okay, every other landmark is up, let me respawn another landmark up. And since nobody else is clearing any other landmarks, there is a high chance that Cafeteria is gonna respawn again. And if you're pushing the landmark clearing properly, for example, right now people are clearing here, but let's just pretend that every single landmark is up. You have one landmark here, 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 and maybe here. This landmark probably got cleared. But anyways, all of the landmarks are active. You clear the Cafeteria, and game checks, everything is active. Let me spawn cafeteria or this or this or this, right? And even if it respawns this one, you clear the oven, you clear cafeteria, you clear backfire, right? You clear those three. And you're not pushing anywhere else. You do not want to clear landmarks on the south. You do not want to clear the landmarks on the west. You just want to hug this part right here, northeast side of a south dark zone. Because even if you wait a little bit, just opening the proficiency caches, clearing the inventory, extracting, doing those stuff, you're gonna always have active landmarks really close to the checkpoint and to the extraction. And when you figure out, because it is contested dark zone, you do not have this red thing is that somebody is actually clearing the landmark. If one of those three landmarks does not spawn, if it spawns somewhere else, you're sure that somebody else is clearing the landmark somewhere else. Of course, if you're paying a little bit closer attention to the already existing landmarks, they will not despawn. They're gonna stay active until somebody clears them. So if this gets cleared out, there is a chance that landmark is going to disappear, and then that landmark can spawn here. So you're gonna know that somebody else is in the dark zone with you, but you do not want to have anyone in the dark zone with you if you want to farm efficiently. You want that dark zone for yourself, and you want to clear every person alive on the server with you to have the maximum efficiency of the proper landmark spawning. Like I said, they should increase the server transfers from the empty servers to the full ones, because the amount of the items that you're gaining in the dark zone right now, in the occupied dark zone solo clearing, I mean group clearing without of any other hostile players, is way too efficient. Yesterday, in 6 hours of a dark zone farming on a south cafeteria, I looted over 700 items. And that's a little bit way too much. That is 100 items per hour, even more than 100 items per hour. And on top of that, there was a lot of like solos and duos that kept coming on us to try to PvP. And we were actually farming them at one point. So 2 people were clearing cafeteria, 2 people were camping the checkpoint, and we were farming proficiency caches one time. In 2 minutes, I got 3 proficiency caches. That's how brutal the XP gain it is. And I do not even know if proficiency caches are counted as looted items. But anyways, the amount of the looted items is insane when group is playing solo in the dark zone. Now, I want to talk about the problems in the PvP in the dark zone. There is a lot of debate, and this is really controversial topic. Does the dark zone require more people, less people? What is wrong? Checkpoint camping. I'm gonna fully explain to you what is actually the problem in the dark zone. Me personally, I do think that 12 people are perfect size for this size of a dark zone. Although the problem is that server popularity is really unstable and it is changing so much, and it is not even that it is changing from hour in and hour out. One day you're gonna have overflow of PvP, second day, you will not find anyone in the dark zone. But I think that there is something with your own personal instance. When I log in, I'm gonna be on the server number 120, and then my buddy is gonna join, but he's actually on the server 1000 and something, and he doesn't have anyone on his server. Since my server number is way closer to the top, to the low number, right? Then we're gonna find the PvP. It is really easy to control the dark zone. If you want a PvP, you can find the instance where you're gonna have overflow of PvP. You clearly understand, is server populated or not? But basically, let's say that there are 12 people on a server. Now, let's say that there is 8 people on the server. Let's just say 8 people, so 2 teams. Both of the teams are going towards the paper mill. PvP starts, 2 people die. And those 2 people are gonna spawn, of course, obviously, on the closest checkpoint. The team with the full teammates, they can or kill those 2 that are left on the landmark, or they can go rush the checkpoint again to kill them again and checkpoint camp. And in most of the cases, that is going to be the thing, just because I personally think that every single dark zone has way too many checkpoints, and every single landmark is way too close. To stop checkpoint camping, I think that they should remove 50% of checkpoints, literally 50%. Out of 6, they should have just 3. Even safe room in the middle of the map is breaking the immersion of a PvP. I do not have anything against same team getting a second win, but it would be much better, and that would be actually enough of the time for the team to regroup and try to attack the winning team on the next landmark. So that is the first solution, just removing the checkpoints. If that is not gonna do the trick, they should add some kind of a timer on the respawn. Since there is no rogue timer, when you die as a rogue, you get 30 seconds, 1 minute timer when you're on the floor and you cannot respawn. And I think that they should do exactly the same thing here in the occupied dark zone. Whoever dies, PvP or PvE, they should have 30 seconds to 1 minute respawn timer. Just because zerging in the occupied dark zone is the reason why there is so much checkpoint camping. You're not getting sandwiched only by players. And I'm talking about only 2 teams now. Only 2 teams. You're getting sandwiched by mobs. Every single time when you kill in the dark zone, mobs are gonna spawn on that location. Which means you have to clear patrol mobs that are over there because of a fire, because players are dying. And you're gonna get sandwiched by mobs again. That is fine by me at some point. I think it is a little bit way too overtuned. I think they should lower it down a little bit. Just a little bit. And the reason why I'm saying that is because with this tactic, with this rate of mob spawning on you when you clear a squad, it is impossible to PvP solo in the occupied dark zone. Trust me, I have cleared a lot of squads in the occupied dark zone solo, but the thing that was killing me were goddamn mobs, because I couldn't kill all of them in a time when they push me back. If there is some kind of a timer, it will be much easier. If there is less checkpoints, it will be much easier. And I'm talking about only 2 groups. And when 3rd group arrives, it is a complete, utter chaos. They need to change something about this. And the last thing that I want to talk about the occupied dark zones. Since the day 1 of the Division 2, I did not care about the non-contested dark zones. I'm always in the occupied dark zone. And when I went over there in the non-occupied dark zone, I loved the diversity of the mobs. I do understand that they want to have the lore around the Black Tusk in the occupied dark zone. And out of 10,300 items looted, 9,000 is probably out of the dark zone. Fighting Black Tusks over and over and over, it became a little bit repetitive. I really do like the diversity of the factions and the different classes of the mobs, and I would like if they can make some kind of a plot twist on the actual dark zones. How about this? Since there is 3 dark zones active, and I'm gonna talk about non-occupieds just a tiny bit. So you go inside of the non-occupied dark zone, you turn rogue, you kill same squad twice, they figure out they cannot do anything to you, they just move in the another non-occupied dark zone. That's it, that's PvP. And I do not like that. My suggestion is to completely lock one of the dark zones. And that dark zone that is locked, literally you cannot enter one day in that dark zone, next day it is going to be occupied dark zone. And every single time, every single day when the occupied dark zone changes, new faction is gonna control it. For example, one day occupied dark zone is gonna be Black Tusk, next day occupied dark zone is gonna be Hyenas, 3rd day occupied dark zone is gonna be Outcasts, but 1st day is gonna be West, 2nd day is gonna be South, 3rd day is gonna be East, just to give some kind of a diversity for people like myself that like to stay in the open world PvP zones. In the occupied dark zones, of course. Non-occupied is not my thing, not my thing. I like that hardcore feeling and penalty on deaths. And the another thing, the last thing that I want to point out. After the patch, there is a lot of people that are talking about some kind of a damage buff in the occupied dark zone. I mean, I do not know if that is happening in the non-occupied ones, but in the occupied ones, definitely. There is something that is triggering damage boost. And it is usually happening when you are PvPing. I do not know if there is some kind of a buff or something hidden in the game code that is staying active, and it is gonna stay active when you die, and the next time it is gonna stack on top of it and you're gonna suddenly start to do double damage. The last couple of days we started to experiment on a different varieties of things. We had like a different team that we were fighting. Some people used SMG builds, some people sniper builds, some people LMG builds, but there was no like same talents that were like overlapping, like, oh, if you die in the Unstoppable Force, you're gonna leave that buff active, or if you die in the Berserk, you're gonna leave that buff active. It is not like that. It is something different. And then the next thing was like people were saying that it is probably the more you stay in the dark zone, higher damage you're gonna have. I made a macro and I left my character AFK to walk automatically in the safe house to try to trigger that buff, because my playtime in the dark zone was over 8 hours, right? And that was not the case also. So I do not know what exactly is triggering, and Massive should definitely check that out also. But that's pretty much it from me for today. Enough of rambling. I hope you guys learned something new. I hope that Massive dude fixed it, dude. What the hell? I'm joking. Thank you all. Love you all. Skra out.